Welcome back to Airsoft Command. In this episode, I am going to do a painting tutorial, and this time I am painting a A&K M249 with a snakeskin camouflage pattern. Before you start painting any gun, you want to make sure that you tape up all of the places where you do not want to get paint. And aside from all the normal places like your barrel, your trigger, the motor grip, for an M249 you want to make sure that you tape up the upper portion of the gearbox, which is located underneath the upper receiver, because paint can get inside of there, so you just want to make sure that you tape that up really well with blue painter's tape. I always like to go with a solid color of base tan, the khaki color. Just start out with a light dusting so that the paint can have something to stick with, and then eventually just cover the entire rifle in tan. After I painted the entire gun tan, I used some of the green camouflage paint, the really light green, and just did some stripes over the gun. In order to get the snakeskin camouflage pattern, I used a old football jersey with a ton of holes in it. I just draped that over top of the M249, and I started out by using the satin nutmeg color, which is very close to coyote brown, and I used this color a lot to get so that it would blend in with the dead leaves. The next color that I used was dark brown, and I used this also with the snakeskin stencil, and I put this over top of lots of the bright tan spots. Whenever you're painting your gun, you want to make sure that you look at it from a distance to see how the pattern blends in with the background. And I noticed that the gun was just a little too bright, and so I grabbed some of the OD green and put that over top of the light green streaks in order to create a little more contrast and to darken the overall tone of the weapon. At this point, the gun had too many dots and I needed to tone it down a bit, so I grabbed the OD and the Coyote and I just did some splotches over top of some of the dots so that it would blend in a little bit more and not have so much stark contrast on the weapon in order to finish up the weapon. Now that the gun had some faded colors into it, it was all finished. It was definitely a pretty simple paint job, just one stencil. I did use 5 colors in it. The amount of green and brown that I used gives it more of a year-round camouflage scheme, but it does lean towards the tan and brown. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time on Airsoft Command.